So last month I ranked all the heroes of the MCU, and that means today we're going to rank all 6 heroes of the DCEU from the worst to the best. Before I get started, go ahead and tell me down below, how do you rank the heroes of the DCEU? Also give me some context. Do you love the DCEU? Do you hate the DCEU? Are you kind of mixed in the middle, love and hate some of them? I'd love to have a nice lively discussion about these characters, which I love. Also, as I go into this, I'm not ranking them based off of power. That's not really my thing. I'm ranking them based off of their characterization, their consistency, their development, and just kind of the intrigue and how compelling they are in general. And one final thing before we get started, this video is brought to you by my supporters over on Patreon. You can see their names down below. Because of their support, what they do, it helps me be able to put the time into this and kind of increase the quality of what I'm doing, so I very much appreciate them. With that said, let's get started. Coming in last place is Cyborg. Now this character has a ton of potential simply because he's a comic book character that is a cyborg. He's got technopathy, he can fly, he's got cool weaponry. There's all sorts of cool things that he can do. The problem here is we haven't gotten to spend a whole lot of time with the character since we've only really seen him in the movie Justice League, and some of his origin stuff was cut out of the movie, as well as even some of his effects with the flying, with the whole helmet and everything like that. It's in the trailer, it's not in the movie, and so we're left as him as just one more character in a movie filled with a lot of big, vibrant characters, and he didn't really get to shine. He was kind of the most forgettable of the movie Justice League, and for me, that means he comes in last place. Coming in fifth place is Aquaman. Here's another character with amazing potential as he's royalty from Atlantis. Then you get an actor like Jason Momoa who can just throw so much personality into the character that he's just someone that you want to spend time with because he's so cool, so fun. And the movie Justice League gives us little images, little hints of the potential for how cool of a character he is, but at the same time, we only learn a little bit about Atlantis. We only get to see a little bit of him in action, so I'm very excited to see what will happen in the movie Aquaman. I'm sure once we do, he'll probably move up this list quite a bit for me. At number 4 is The Flash. They had a difficult task ahead of them because there's already a live-action Flash on the CW, and they had to find a way to make him unique and distinct from that show, and I thought they did a great job with that. A lot of that goes back to Ezra Miller, who just brings a quirkiness to the role and comedic timing that's just so distinct to this particular characterization of The Flash. They also have him as a not fully formed superhero, where he talks about not getting into fights with people and just kind of pushes them, and all of this kind of makes him a more compelling character than he might have been otherwise. So all in all, I think they've got a great foundation for a unique version of the Flash. In third place is the Batman. I really like a lot of what they've done with this version of Batman. They had to find a way to distinguish him from all the previous versions of Batman, and they did that in making him an older Batman that's faced a lot of loss and tragedy, that's made him a very angry version of this character, and I thought that made for some very compelling moments, especially with the Alfred and Bruce Wayne moments throughout the film. Seeing a Batman that in the suit can really move, like that warehouse fight scene, a lot of the character stuff that happened in Batman v Superman, I really liked. Now, I also wasn't crazy about Batman with machine guns, and I thought they kind of watered the character down a little bit when they went into Justice League, and so he wasn't as compelling, and it seemed like they took a couple too many of the edges off. But all in all, this is a very distinct, unique version of Batman that I thoroughly enjoy. Our runner-up is Superman. The DCU attempts to give Superman a 21st century makeover by giving him a much more complex psychology. We're seeing him as both the alien from Krypton with Jor-El as his father, and we've also got him as a person of Earth with Jonathan Kent as his father, and this makes him torn between all these different worlds. And then as we move into Batman v Superman, he's torn as a guy that wants to live a normal life, wants to be able to help people, but his involvement in the world is kind of controversial. All this makes for a very interesting, unique take on the character and a bit of a deconstruction of superheroes in the process. Henry Cavill brings such a physicality to the role, and you just look at him and you see he's Superman in what he's doing. And so I appreciate so much of that about the character. Now, they haven't really given us a traditional take just yet, where he's just kind of in his normal stream, not being criticized, not becoming Superman. We've only gotten little hints of it right there at the end of Justice League, so I hope we get that Man of Steel too, so we can see fully formed Superman resurrected in classic form that's both the old and the new. I would love that, and I've loved so much of what they've done with this character thus far. But coming in first place is Wonder Woman. Gal Gadot brings just such a wonderful strength, charisma, and naive gave likability to the role. In her movie, she goes from being on an island to coming into the main world, and you just see this sense of awe and wonder as she goes on this journey. Of course, she brings the physicality to the role. There's some amazing fight scenes in all the movies that she's been involved in. But what I really love about what they've done with the character is they've made her distinctly feminine. She acts like a person that you feel like you might even know, even though she's a superhero yielding a sword that can win any fight. And so it just makes for a character that feels very interesting as a superhero on these journeys that they've taken her on. And also simply because we've gotten to see her over a span of 100 years, you get to see her in different contexts and the way she's grown as a person and matured throughout all of this. And it's been consistent while being developed at the same time. So for me, Wonder Woman easily comes in first place. But how about you? Tell me your ranking down below in the comment section. Tell me which ones you love, which ones you hate, everything in between. Let's just have a nice, lively, respectful discussion. Also, as I said at the beginning, this video was brought to you by my supporters over on Patreon. If you enjoy my content and want to support me and help me continue to do what I'm doing, please consider supporting me over on Patreon. There is a link down below. See what that looks like. I have some exclusive content over there. I do a lot of live streams for my patrons and some other behind the scenes type stuff. If you're so interested, please consider doing so. And if you're new to my channel, please consider clicking that subscribe button. I do movie reviews, TV reviews, ranking videos. But the key thing is, I don't want to just talk about movies. I want to talk about movies with you. So join me down in the comment section. Let's have a lively, respectful conversation. And as always, thank you for watching.